On this week's Hot List, villain or victim? A woman from Brazil caught with bags of cocaine in her luggage. What price must she pay? Helping hand, why a global survey found that Indonesians are the most generous people. And daily shots, why the Bali government wants you to take a drink when you wake up and go to bed. Hello and welcome. This is Hot Indonesia. I'm Dalton Tanonaka in Jakarta. Let's get to it. Here are my co-hosts. Linda Ibrahim is a business consultant, writer, and apple tea lover. And Karanina Sunny, business owner, Miss Indonesia 2009, and secret drummer. Hot topic number one, villain or victim. She was coming in from Brazil on New Year's Day, and when customs agents in Bali checked her luggage, they found more than swimsuits and suntan oil, bags of cocaine weighing 3.6 kilograms or 8 pounds in total. Authorities said at a news conference on January 28th that with pandemic doors reopened, drug detection must be tightened again. Now, the suspect's name, ladies, is Manuela Farias, 19 years old. And a twist came a few days later when police said that the teenager didn't know what was in her bags. And I want to talk about that in a minute. First, Linda, Indonesia, of course, is known as one of the toughest countries on drugs. What was this woman thinking?
Maybe she has been duped. There's been a lot of cases like that. I mean, there's actually a very good documentary at, I think, Crime Investigation Channel, just about mules, drug mules. And some of them were duped, thinking that they were bringing packages for someone's loved ones. And someone was duped, was not entirely duped, but was coerced or persuaded to do that for a small amount of money. So I don't know which one, you know.
So there's a difference between being paid and being
Right.
fooled. But you know, the police did say that she told them that she didn't know what was in her bags. But come on, I mean, anybody in this world would want to know, because for this very reason, you might get caught carrying contraband. She said she was promised free surf lessons by a friend back home to carry them in, but it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
She
So
had
she's
drugs in her
not-
suitcase.
No, she's 19.
Yeah.
She's 19.
That's old enough.
Yeah, I think, well, I didn't do anything that stupid when I was 19, but I have been careless at 19. And if she were like a 29 or 39, that's a different story. But 19, I almost forgive her for being that dumb.
Well, you would check your bags.
For sure. I mean, we don't know the backstory. There's a story that gets told to the police, and then maybe the same or a different story that gets told to the media. So it's hard to comment when we're not there in person and we don't really know what actually happened.
But the first time I've heard the police almost apologize for the girl. I've never heard that. Usually they're tougher, and they're saying, "Oh, she doesn't know. She's a teenager, but 19 is not a kid."
Well, I think if she did know and it was part of a bigger drug syndicate, it would also make them not look good, because it would mean that they weren't on top of it.
But they caught her.
But they called her,
They did catch her, which is also why it makes me wonder if they didn't know about it beforehand. If they were tipped off or something. Because actually when you land in Bali, they don't have the dogs everywhere. It's not actually that tight. So for you to just randomly have and they don't really have this like selection of bag screening. I think it's actually more strict in Jakarta when you come in with the Bea Cukai. In Bali, it's not that strict. So for them to have randomly caught on to something being, to this happening.
And maybe there's a profile of certain countries or red flag countries and
maybe.
certain age and single travelers, but, Linda, I don't think anyone can be that naive as far as this young lady. I mean, could it be
whether she was duped or maybe her family back at home was threatened for whatever reason.
Or the
for
smugglers.
whatever reason she did it, but I don't think that you would travel somewhere and someone gives you a bag and says, don't look into it.
You
and you
always,
go, okay, I won't look into it. You would actually be more suspicious, like, what am I going to get in trouble for if there's something
I mean, could it be that the smugglers thought that going to a country, maybe in a developing country, it may be less strict than other places? I mean, unless they lived under a rock. People know Indonesia is a tough country.
Could be, but I also remember being older than 19. I think I was 21, and I was living for the United States. And I had friends with relatives there and asked me to bring them something from Indonesia, and it was already wrapped by the time it arrived in my house. And had it not been for my dad's stepping in at the time. Now, what's in the bag? I wouldn't have opened it because it would have been rude, because that's someone else's package. And I think that's what happened to that woman. I don't know what sort of parents she has, who she lives with. Does she have like an older adult around her telling maybe it's not a good idea to have something wrapped and just put in your suitcase going to another country?
But you saw the pictures at the news conference. They were just bags of cocaine. They weren't disguised as Christmas gifts. They were just.
Was that the actual photo, or was it a Shutterstock photo?
I think it.
I think the description was.
It did say
Yeah.
it was a stock photo. Okay, well we don't know what it was about.
Or after it had been opened by the police.
True.
Maybe
true.
that's not how they found it. Maybe it
the
was
outer packaging
yeah,
was different.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, she faces, initially the authorities are saying she faces the death penalty, which is, if you're a drug
Yeah.
trafficker, that's pretty standard penalty, or at least a long prison term. Nina, there has been criticism that our laws are too tough here, that murderers and sex offenders get less punishment than people doing drugs. Where are you on this?
Well, I think the crime of drugs is very apparent when the proof is there, when the drug items are there. So it's very easy to prove somebody, without a shadow of a doubt, broke the law. But other crimes like sex offenders and things like this is based off of word of mouth. It's based off of someone's testimony. So it's actually harder to prove someone's guilt.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about evidence, but about the severity of a crime. I mean, you know.
Right. How do you gauge one crime against the other, and the punishment that is given?
And we're not talking about just the possession of like one marijuana joint. And we're talking about she was carrying 8 pounds of cocaine. I mean,
that's
imagine
a
the
lot
street
of
value.
cocaine.
So maybe they're mitigating the penalty so they don't get an outcry. A teenager is going to get the death penalty. Be a lot of criticism globally.
Actually,
right?
but they haven't really done a death penalty for drugs. It's often just stated that way in the media, where they say can be up to, because the law does.
No, we have executed a lot.
Yeah, Bali 9,
The
right?
Bali 9. It
Yeah.
created so much international uproar.
But
just
that
several
wasn't their
years
first
ago.
offense.
Well, we don't know what this woman's background, but the
And
penalty is there. We
yeah,
have executed.
We executed a lot of people.
So I think
Indonesia
the
did.
message overall, which is what I wanted to talk about in this segment, was that, you know, no matter where you go, don't carry anything in if you don't know
Yeah,
what's in
that is
there
true.
and you don't know the people.
Even if you know the people, you should
Of course.
be able to like
Well,
look
I've been
at
asked
it.
to carry
yeah.
like tolok angin for a friend in California. You know,
Well,
this
I think
little-
if you know what the items are,
yeah, sure.
but
And for those thinking about rewards, the sale of it, I just say not worth it, not worth it. Okay, Hot Indo will continue shortly with Helping Hand. Are Indonesians really the most generous in the world?
I love Indonesia. I love the food. Yummy. Wow. I'm gonna hunt 4 ingredients. Now I'm ready to cook. Let's go to the kitchen. It's done. Let's meet to eat.
Foodiepedia on the Indonesia Channel.
Hi, I'm Handi Kurniawan and I'm watching the Indonesia channel in Hong Kong.
Ibrahim. You're watching the Indonesia channel, the home of good sport.
I'm Trần Minh Ngân of VCCTV Net Việt in Hanoi.
I'm Thairat Thumya of Thailand's Thairat TV in Bangkok.
I'm Monica Sambodet from the National Television of Cambodia in Phnom Penh.
I'm Raymond Go of Malaysia's TV3 in Kuala Lumpur.
I'm Glenda Chong of Singapore's Channel News Asia.
I'm Raisa Chantami of the Indonesia channel at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta.
This is your weekly look into the dynamic Southeast Asia region.
ASEAN Today on the Indonesia channel.
The Best of Bali takes viewers on a special guided tour of the treasures of the Island of the Gods.
Well, the romantic dinner is beautiful.
The Best of Bali, only on the Indonesia channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia with Linda, Nina, and me. Here's hot topic number 2, helping hand. People in this country are known to be giving people. I think that's fair to say, always willing to help one another. This trait was validated again in the annual World Giving Index of the Charities Aid Foundation based in the UK. For the 5th straight year, Indonesians topped the 2022 list of the most generous people in the world. Now, data was collected from 119 countries, representing 90% of the world's population. Fair sample. Nina, are you surprised or not?
Not at all. I think growing up, it's always been a thing that is comparable to other countries, how hospitable Indonesians are. And there's always, you learn from a very young age about gotong royong, which is, helping out and helping each other. And you can see that, like, when there's accidents along the road, there's people that, like, my driver had an accident a few months back, and he told me that he woke up in the hospital, he didn't remember how to get there, but it turned out that a Gojek driver, just a passerby, saw it happen and actually brought him to the hospital, and then his phone was lost, so they actually went to the kampung that he said that the street that he lived in, they knocked on doors looking for his family to let him know, and they did that without, like, they just helped. And then, of course, at the end, I told him, go find the Gojek driver and give him something from us, for helping to save your life.
And you don't hear those examples in other developed countries. The survey asked about helping a stranger, as in this case, donating money or giving volunteer time. I think this is especially true here, but more so at the grassroots level. Would you say?
Yes, and there's another factor beyond just culturally we're philanthropic. I think Indonesia, since its birth, has never really had a reliable government. So people know that you have to rely on one another, on your neighbors, on your relatives, on your friends, on your colleagues, before you can count on the government to help on you. As you say yourself, compared to like developed countries have systems. Yeah. So you call 911, you get help, or you lost your job, you go to employment agency, or either you get a new job or.
Number here?
We don't have one. No, we don't. We don't even have that.
I was thinking that the other day. Like, what would be the number?
That's a good point.
No, right. We don't have that. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing. You have to rely on the next, almost like the next person to help you instead of the government. And that's also, I think, one of the reasons why paying taxes has been such a such a struggle. Yeah, because you don't feel like you're getting something out of your taxes.
And the income tax collection rate is around 20 or 30% only in this country.
Yeah, because people don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. Because if anything happens to me, instead of the government helping me, I have to rely on like perfect strangers or people around me to help me. So why bother?
Okay, I didn't think about that, the lack of government assistance or organized government assistance. Okay, but besides that, and besides collective cultural things that you talk about, gotong royong, how much of this stems from, and there has to be a root, and I think in other countries it stems from religion. Religious practices or teachings teach you to share and to help your neighbor, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Especially in a country which is 90% Muslim, teachings are...
Yeah. Not only 90% Muslim, this is a country that is 100% must have religion. It's against the law in Indonesia to become atheist, and that's so so this is a country that is 100% religious.
And there are atheists here, but they just don't say it.
On your KTP, you have to list, and they give you the list
on
that
your
you
ID
choose
card,
from.
right?
Six recognized religion.
But my point is it also stems from religious teachings. I mean, whether it's Muslim, Christian, or Buddhist, right? You're taught in all religions
to give alms, to help the ones in need.
It's even more organized in Islam, right?
Very, very organized in Islam. Actually, there are laws about how much you at least have to give in a year.
And there's different types, right?
Yeah, and there are different types.
How you give,
Like
The
if
amount
it's
you
a
give,
hiba,
where you give it to.
if it's a hiba, or is it a
There's
zakat, or is it I mean, there are different types, you know, depending on what it is. If it's like for personal
And I think
usage,
there's
or
some
if it's
that
like a
are
public
mandatory.
usage.
Yeah. Some of them are mandatory.
And in
Zakat is
Christianity,
mandatory.
some faiths, some denominations of Christianity, you're required to pay 10% of your
to the
earnings.
church. Yeah.
Perpuluhan.
Okay, now the COVID-19 pandemic brought out the goodness in people even more so, in my opinion. You know, it's in times of adversity when true character emerges. So, Linda, anyone can give when it's good times. You know what I mean? So during these past 3 years, I think we saw even more examples.
Let's take COVID, for example, because I organized some with some of my friends at that time. And the reason we had to do that, we wanted to do that as well, but we had to do that because what we did, we took all of the protective gears, you know, we tried to source, because at that time, all the hospitals needed them and the government wasn't very fast in providing them. So that's why there is even those movements, and not just me and my friends. And there were a lot of people doing that at the beginning of COVID. And then all of this people trying to organize, giving out to the poor, the people in informal jobs who suddenly were not able to earn money or something, you know. So I think, again, it all happened because we didn't see the government immediately mobilizing efforts to help. So we're like, okay, we get this spare money, let's help the ones
a friend
in
and
need.
I donated 1,000 masks to inmates at this certain prison. I mean, things like that, right? I mean, you've heard of people coming together. You have any examples in your world where people donated food or packets or what?
Well, we also did some things through our clinic as well. So people, immediate friends and family did help, and they saw that, our clinic could do some screenings and some vaccines and things like this. But of course, the vaccines were already free from the government.
Yeah, but the vaccine came like a year after COVID happened. The first lockdown, pseudo-lockdown, was 16th of March 2020. And the vaccine didn't come for general senior citizen until the March the following year.
But I think I kind of like the way that
it's a year without vaccine
that
for
we
us.
responded, that how Indonesians responded, instead of like going to the supermarket and clearing all of the toilet paper and, you know, just like doing things and not thinking about other people. But I think our response was generally not so selfish and more thinking about how can we keep people safe, as, you know, together. And I think, there wasn't so much of a selfish panic response the way that we saw in other countries.
And I think the part I said about grassroots, you know, here, we help each other, from your neighbors to your workmates, and you don't see as much as other places where like big tycoons or big corporations, I know they do it, but here I think people are known more for, the everyday man helping each other rather than the people who have so much wealth. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
And let's hope it continues 6 years in a row, maybe next year. Okay, more Hot Indo is ahead. Daily shots. Why the Bali governor wants you to take 2 drinks every day.
Produk lokal memang handal, kreasi lokal memang spesial. Ayo beli buatan negeri, bangga sekali produk sendiri. Dari busana sampai kria, kuliner juga buatan kita. Ayo beli kreatif lokal, marilah beli produk kreatif lokal. Pejuang negeri, beli kreatif lokal, banggalah beli produk kreatif lokal.
Hello, this is Anggun and you're watching the Indonesia channel, hot programs, cool people.
I'm Caitlin Turner, and welcome to Yoga Bliss. Exhale, reaching down to triangle pose. Roll your knee out and up to the sky, breathing here.
Yoga Bliss, only on the Indonesia Channel. This is the Indonesia Channel.
You are watching iPop Playlist.
iPop on the Indonesia Channel.
You're watching Hot Indonesia from Jakarta. Hot topic number 3, daily shots. Now, many people take vitamins. The governor of Bali says take 2 shots of arak to stay healthy. Wayan Koster says daily use of the traditional coconut-based alcohol can boost spirits. His goal, of course, is to boost business of the island drink, which comes in several flavors. This past Sunday was the first official arak day. Now, Japan has sake, Korea has soju. Why not arak as Indonesia's national spirit that we can promote, Linda?
No, why not? I think they have. I mean, arak is a general term. It's not just Balinese term. They have arak. It's called
Javanese also.
It's just an Indonesian word. Yeah. In Manado, North Sulawesi, it's called saguer, and in other parts.
One from Papua as well. It's made from cane sugar.
Yeah.
I forget the name.
It's been promoted within the areas when it can be promoted.
But it takes a leader to say, let's get behind it and boost business as well as making it something we can promote.
Bali has been hurting for tourism for the lack of tourists the past 3 years. So of course, as a governor, if he's looking for being re-elected, then he needs to boost something else to cheer up.
But I see his point. I mean, if we can rally around one product, like whether it's a sambal, a hot sauce, or a coffee, or an alcoholic drink that we can say is, I actually thought of a campaign, the arak, the spirit of Bali, spirits and the play on words. Yeah. But I think it's a good try at attempting to help the people
I'm not
who
blaming
produce.
him. He needs to do that. He needs to boost the business in his
that we
province.
can boost or promote that's local, of course.
But we must remember, people were wondering, hey, wait a minute, I thought Indonesia was a Muslim majority country and alcohol is not advised. But Bali is Hindu and the country's #1 visitor destination, so there is no religious conflict. So Nina, a shot in the morning and a shot at night, I mean, would you say that's reasonable or what?
Well, I would support him in the sense...
Because women, I know friends, they got to have a glass of wine before they go to sleep. Regularly, a glass of red wine every night. It helps
I
me
enjoy
sleep.
a good wine, but I'm not one of those who has to have. I think everything in moderation. And I completely support him wanting to promote local products, but arak is not for everybody. I've tried it before.
For those who haven't tasted
it's
it's like a soju. It's strong, and and you have flavors. Some are sweeter than others, and there are many different kinds.
It's a bit sharper than soju, and then there's brem that's also it's like made from rice wine, and that's like super sweet. So, I mean, I think our coffee is more elegant, and maybe even our sambal. But I wouldn't say that we've perfected the alcohol procedure. If you compare our alcohol to other countries' alcohol, I wouldn't necessarily go to my friends and be like, okay, let's do.
It may be good. We just haven't marketed or promoted it. And that's what maybe this Bali governor is trying to do.
Well, try it. I mean, try it if you want to try something traditional and something local. But I wouldn't.
You're not a drinker, Linda. So are you?
I drink.
We drink, but not.
And you'll be surprised of what I drink.
Okay, well, tequila shots, okay.
Sure.
and only certain tequila, if I may say so. I
Okay,
did
so
live
you're a
in Arizona.
tequila snob.
I was raised
Yes.
well.
Okay, but we're not trying to promote tequila. We're trying to promote arak. We're trying to help the
I was just
Bali.
going to get into it. But,
Oh God!
All right, ladies. Next time, instead of coffee in our mugs,
I thought
we'll
last
get
week
some
we
arak.
had I thought last week we had the chocolate cake. I
Yeah.
thought we were going to have arak.
Oh.
To be
I thought we were going to have some
perfectly honest,
tasting.
to be
some
perfectly
arak
honest with
tasting.
you, having lived in Manado, and being forced drunk saguer, at early age, and I wasn't even, I was like only what,
You mean
14? No, because it's something
Drinking
that the kids,
games?
yeah, it's things that kids would do, at that
dare
time.
you.
Yeah. I have to say, if as far as alcoholic drinks from Indonesia are concerned, saguer from Manado, so much better than Balinese.
Oh, all right. Okay, you're a little partial there, and also to be clear, you must get ones that are produced commercially because we have a lot of cases
saguer as well.
of illnesses and also some
No,
people
but
getting
saguer
very
as well.
sick. So
There
make
are
sure don't
brands if
do
you go there.
bootleg anything. Okay, I'll bring arak next week. How's that?
Sure.
You can.
If I bring it, we gotta do it. It is feedback
stick with
time now.
coffee.
Feedback, we like that. This reaction from Prayogo on the president's planned apology tour for past atrocities. We don't need an apology. All we want is a leader who listens to the people. And Don in Indonesia had this comment, great topics again. Thanks, Don. Here's how to contact us with your feedback. Email at hotindo@theindonesiachannel.com or comment through our Hot Indonesia or Indonesia Channel Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Final words, Linda.
It's been raining a lot the past couple of weeks, to the point that there's been floods across Indonesia, different parts, Aceh, Central Java, and Manado. And I wish for everyone to take precautions whenever you travel or just check around. Because remember, we're pretty much on our own in Indonesia. Government is not always up to date about the level of this rivers next to your place.
I want to see Linda run for parliament. Final words, Nina.
I'm actually going to Kalimantan soon for a cycling trip, so I want to encourage everyone to travel more domestically because Indonesia has so many places for diving, for cycling, for culinary adventures. So go traveling domestically and you'll love it.
And my final words, it's February. And before you know it, it'll be June. I mean, if you've got stuff to do, my point is, get it done. Stuff done that you blamed on the pandemic for not getting done. Because you must get ahead of the game, because soon it'll be December and you'll be saying, hey, where did the year go? Right?
Yes.
Okay. And that is Hot Indonesia for this week. For Linda Ibrahim and Karenina Sunny, I'm Dalton Tataraka. Thank you for watching. Please join us again next time.